Yo, it's Zero, and this is what if Naruto was like Mori, the movie. This video is heavily inspired by the Journey to the West and many of its representations within anime. I got this idea from sitting around and thinking about Dragon Ball, and instead of using Goku or another Saiyan what if, I came up with this idea. So, this video is mostly a combination of what if Naruto was like Sun Wukong and Mori. Anyways, make sure to like the video and subscribe and share to a friend who likes what ifs. All my links are down below, and without any more wait, let's get started.
Let's get it. I'm a trapping fanatic, that shit automatic, so I cannot turn it on or off. Bitches all on my dick, then she hop on my dick. I'm like, why you keep hopping on and off? Yo, bitch all on my dick, she be doing the most. I tell her, little bitch, she so extra. And my gun up on me, but not run up on me. Niggas, they wanna fight, they some wrestlers. And you know 30K got the mop. Sacked up, yeah, I got them knots. Act up, get your body in a box. Told the demon, you know how I rock.
Enter the origin. The Nine Tails would be attacking the leaf, and the fourth Hokage would be doing all he can to stop it. But he also has to deal with the masked Uchiha, who's quite strong. So much is going wrong this night. He wishes he could do it all over again, but it's too late. He can only try his best to save everyone and his home. Minato manages to force the masked man to leave the area, giving himself time as he goes to Kushina and his newly born son. He looks at the baby boy to first notice his golden hair and fire-like eyes. He even has a tail. Minato thought that the masked man did something to Naruto. And here is where I'm going to take this what if down a route that I usually never do in my other stories. As they are about to die, Minato chooses to seal the Nine Tails within himself and Kushina. Both of them would barely be alive after, but they are on the brink of death, and at least Minato didn't force a burden upon his son. The baby Naruto would see his parents on their deathbed, but look back at the starry night sky as he reached out wishing he could touch it. Hiruzen ran to the boy, picking him up, and with their dying breaths, they explained everything to Hiruzen. If Minato got a little time to talk to him, he explained the masked man and who he believes it is. Hiruzen nods, telling them to rest and that they've done enough. He then holds the baby Naruto, looking at his tail and his golden hair. 5 years later, we see an apple shop within the Leaf Village. As a merchant is trying to sell apples, a kid leans down and grabs one of them. The merchant yells out, "I've caught you red-handed this time, Naruto." Naruto grabs a couple more apples before launching himself into the street with his tail. The man begins to chase Naruto down an alley, but Naruto jumps into an open window and flips to the roof. After that, he jumps from roof to roof. Finally, Naruto would jump into the window, the open window of his apartment, as he lays down on the bed and continues to eat the delicious apples. This place is boring. Naruto leans out of his apartment window to see the man still yelling at him. Naruto then throws a half-eaten apple back down at his head. Once it hits him, Naruto begins to laugh. Naruto then stared at the sky, as he wondered what the outside world would be like. At night, he then made his decision. He left a note in his apartment, telling Lord Third that he'll be back in a while. And since Naruto isn't a Jinchuriki, the search party for him wouldn't be as large, maybe 2 or 3 Chunin. The boy makes it outside of the gate, and he speeds off with a bag of apples on his back. Using his arms and his tail, he swung from branch to branch, moving more like an animal than a future ninja. Naruto wanted to get to the highest mountain to look up at the stars for some reason. He didn't know why, but he just always liked to do so, thinking that he didn't come from here. After a day and another night of travel, Naruto would spot a very, very tall mountain, as he decided this is the one that he wants to live on for a while. Naruto grabs onto the edge and flips himself higher. He barely manages to grab onto the ledge, hanging off as he holds his apples in the other hand. Naruto is kind of sad because he has to drop the delicious apples to the ground, but he continues to climb higher and higher, and when Naruto's 2 hands reach the top, it is nearing noon, as he then takes a short pause before pulling himself up. As he sits down catching his breath, Naruto sees a house in the center of the mountain. Someone lives all the way up here? How? Then he hears a stomach growl as Naruto walks up to the house looking through the window. He sees a hot meal on the stove, which causes his hunger to increase. As he makes plan to steal some of it, he feels a tap on his shoulder. Naruto flips away because it did scare him a little bit. And then he sees an old man who came out of nowhere. This short old man smiled and walked into the house, waving for Naruto to follow him. The two sit down at a table, and the man introduces himself as Gohan. Naruto tells him his name, and the two begin talking. Naruto asks what an old man is doing all the way up here by himself. Well now, I'm not by myself anymore, seeing as you are here. Gohan begins to laugh while Naruto smiles. This man was different than the Hokage. Gohan felt warm and welcoming, while Hiruzen felt cold. Naruto always felt like a burden to Hiruzen for some reason. This was because Naruto didn't have the tail beast, so Hiruzen didn't really speak to Naruto. He really only took care of him because he was the Hokage's son. Gohan then asks, "What's a boy like you doing all the way up here? I'm pretty sure your parents must be worried sick about you." Naruto, who was eating, then stops. "I don't have any. I've lived alone in my village for quite some time, basically my whole life. But I recently left, and that's why I'm here on the mountain now." "What is climbing a mountain going to do for you?" Naruto smiled, walking outside with the man to show him the stars. Naruto jumps on Gohan's house. The stars are the best when you can see them this close. It's almost like you can reach out and touch them, yet they're so far. Gohan watched the boy's face light up as the stars reflected off of his bright orange eyes. When he came back down from the rooftop, he told the man he was going to leave now, as this was all he wanted to do. And since someone is living here, he doesn't want to disturb Gohan. But Gohan stopped him. "How about a quick spar before you go?" Naruto smiled. "Alright then." They both bowed and looked back up as the fight would now begin. Naruto jumped at Gohan, swinging his leg, but the man blocked it, striking Naruto in his chest. Naruto fell to the ground but got back up quickly. This time, he used his tail to grab Gohan's arm, but the man kicks Naruto back. "You can't leave this mountain until you can defeat me in combat." He holds out a hand, lifting Naruto off of the ground. What was that fighting style? It's very different from the taijutsu I know, that's from my village at least. This is martial arts, a style of fighting that branches off from taijutsu and requires the balance of both technique and power. Right now you do have the power, but you lack the skill to back it up. That is why I was easily able to defeat you. "Teach me now, Gramps." Gohan chuckled. "Gramps? Well, I guess you can call me that, seeing as I am too old to be your father. We'll start tomorrow. As of now, if you wish to live here, you have to do chores as well." Naruto sighed, but if this meant he would get to learn martial arts and become stronger, he would do any chore. Gohan would tell Naruto to go down the river, down the mountain first, then to a river, and bring back 2 buckets full of water, along with a bag of fish. Naruto goes down the backside of the mountain, where it was easier to get down, and then he found where the river was. It doesn't take him long to get down the mountain. The problem is how he's going to get back up after gathering all the stuff that he needs. Naruto first fills up the buckets with fresh water, and then he looks at the fish. Naruto takes off the shirt that he had on and jumped in the water, grabbing fish with his mouth, feet, and tail, tossing them into the bucket, or the basket. Once it's full, Naruto puts it on his back, and he begins to climb back up the mountain. He holds up the water, he holds the bucket on his back, and he holds up the buckets of water with his tail, while using both his hands and feet to pull himself up. After about 5 hours, Naruto made it back up the mountain. "What took you so long? Didn't you take the steps?" "The what?" "Follow me, Naruto. You have much to learn if you're going to live here. You are able to move fast, but your brain cannot keep up with your body. Sometimes it is better to go slow than to go fast." Naruto? Well, no. Gohan would show Naruto the side of the mountain with the steps that go all the way down and all the way back up. Naruto sighs, remembering that for the next time. Months begin to go by, and then years of these two just spending time together and bonding. We now see an older, taller Naruto in a stance. He was facing Gohan, and Naruto steps forward, punching the man who dodged. Gohan would try to counter with a kick, but Naruto caught the kick and threw Gohan. Gohan smiled, rushing back at Naruto. This time, Naruto dodged and held his fingertips to Gohan's chest as he quickly performs a punch from a very close range that sends the man to the ground. Naruto holds out a hand, as this was reminiscent of their first battle, but this time Naruto was on the winning side. The two smile as Gohan is pulled up by Naruto, but he hadn't realized how big Naruto had gotten. And, as he stood next to him, he realized how much taller he was. He was only about 11 years old, but he was growing at an alarming rate. "Follow me, Naruto. I have something to show you." He takes Naruto inside his home to a back room, and this back room had a golden staff on display. "I'd like you to have it, Naruto." "Gramps, I can't possibly take something so valuable from you." Naruto began to get nervous as he stuttered. "Nonsense. I've raised you to the point where I consider you my blood, and this is my final parting gift to you, as there is nothing more I can teach you. So, take this staff, and go help the world." Truly, when I first came here on this mountain, I did find it, but I didn't exactly know why it was here, but I kept it just in case. And ever since you've arrived so long ago, it's been glowing brighter and brighter every day. So, it must be responding to you. Naruto hugged Gohan as the two would begin to cry, and Naruto grabbed the staff as it would also begin to glow brighter now. This staff, well, I believe it has many abilities that will help you, but it will take time for you to master them, so you need to use it wisely and only for the side of good. Naruto now stood on the edge of the mountain minutes later as he looked off at the beautiful sky. It reminds me of when I first came here. He tilted his head back, and then he looked back down. Naruto could see a smaller version of himself climbing this mountain. "I promise to make you proud, Gramps." Naruto flips off the mountain, falling at high speeds. As he was about to hit a tree, Naruto kicked the side of the mountain, sticking his foot right through it, stopping himself. He looks in the direction of where his old home would be. "I wonder if anyone there will remember me." Enter the Rogue Hero arc. Naruto travels all the way back to the Leaf Village. Along the way, he does pass small towns that he uses power to help the people within them. By now, he did have access to the 72 earthly transformations, making his powers even more unique than before. Naruto arrived at the gate of the Leaf and saw two black-haired men guarding it. "Papers, please." "Oh, it's me, Naruto Uzumaki." Naruto Uzumaki? The fourth Hokage's son died 4 years ago after he left the village. "Yeah, I know I left. That doesn't mean I died. Why would you even assume that? And how did you see that? And who made that statement?" "Here, how about I show you something that only the real Naruto has?" Naruto shows them his tail, which would convince the guards to let him go see the Hokage, as one of them would escort him there while the other stays at the gate. Naruto walks through the village with the man, noticing how different it was. There were guards everywhere. Maybe it was because of thieves. Naruto walks into the Hokage's office as he was surprised. Hiruzen wasn't in the office. "Oh, my bad, this isn't the Hokage's room then." "No, it is." "And who are you?" "I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Who are you?" "I am Fugaku Uchiha, the 5th Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village. If you really are the son of the 4th Hokage, why did you desert your home?" "Oh yeah, that. I went to explore the world. I was kind of bored of being here. Don't worry, I'm back now and I'm ready to become a ninja." "No, since you've already abandoned the village, you are no longer able to become a ninja. We don't need shinobi like you in the world. But because I did know your father, I'll allow you to stay here. That is, if you want to." Naruto was angry. Was it really that important for him to stay in a village that had nothing for him? He would be so weak if he stayed. And then, when did they get a new Hokage? Where was Hiruzen? Naruto looked at Fugaku as he would ask, "Where is Lord Third?" Fugaku began to chuckle. "He's been dead for about 3 years now." Naruto's heart sank. "He's lying. There's no way." Naruto grabbed his staff, letting it glow, and Fugaku activated his Mangekyo Sharingan. However, Naruto stopped himself. He remembered the words of his grandfather to only use the staff for good, as he would then say, "Fine, I'm not going to live here, but I won't do anything to the leaf." But Fugaku, the Hokage, would turn laughing, as Naruto then shatters all the windows, and this was by slamming the door alone. Naruto goes off in the village and walks towards the gate to leave once again. As he's walking, he hears someone shout out his name. He turns around to see a young Uchiha boy who he didn't know. Sasuke. Hey Naruto, I heard you're back. We thought you died. Where have you been? Sasuke, did your father kill Lord Third? Yeah, there was a civil war a while ago. Even I got to fight. I killed a couple people too because I'm strong. I'm probably stronger than you, Naruto. Naruto walked away from the Uchiha and left the village. As he was walking, he saw someone who he didn't really recognize. It was a girl with long black hair and white eyes. Naruto thought she was beautiful, but he knew he needed to leave the Leaf Village. Naruto would wander for a couple of days until he reached a small town. In this town, he went to a bar and paid for a drink. As he sat there, he listened to a drunk man. Those damn Uchihas, they can't even run the Leaf Village. I just needed an escort and they couldn't even provide that. Naruto smiled, finishing his drink as he walked over to the man. Forget about the leaf. Naruto Uzumaki will escort you to wherever you need to go, which you said was the land of waves. So, I'll take you there. You're just a brat. You can't escort me. Naruto walks outside of the building and Tazuna begins to laugh. The man that was sitting next to the window, who was Tazuna, would then look to see Naruto outside of the window. He would pick up the entire building and then slowly set it down, not to break anything. Tazuna ran outside and saw Naruto walking away. Tazuna ran up to him, asking him to please escort him. Oh, I thought I was just a brat. No, I need your strength. I'll even pay you. I don't need money, but when I get you to your home, I want a cooked meal. Do we have a deal? Naruto holds out his hand and Tazuna smiles, shaking it. The two would then leave, as they would then take a boat to the land of waves. Naruto would ask Tazuna why he needs an escort. Is someone coming to attack him? Tazuna would explain what's going on in the land of waves and how he asked the leaf to help him, but they said that they were short-staffed, so they refused. When they got off the boat and continued walking, Tazuna looked at the golden staff that Naruto held. He would then ask him about it. Oh, it was a gift from my grandfather. I have no idea where it came from, but it is quite powerful. I should go visit him after I complete this mission. But knowing him, he'll probably send me off again. Send you off? Yeah, he wants me to go help the world. Or he says that's what I should do. So that's what I've been doing for a while. Naruto smiled from ear to ear, but then he caught a blade with one hand. Come out. I know you've been watching us. This is when Zabuza appeared, and Naruto throws the blade back to Zabuza, who would catch it. Naruto is then seen holding his staff while standing in a strange position. All of a sudden, it began to glow as he channeled chakra. Naruto vanished and reappeared on the side of Zabuza, swinging his staff. Zabuza tried to turn to block, but he was too slow and he was sent flying. Before he could make contact or hit anything, another punch from Naruto dug his face into the ground. A loud noise was heard as a crater was formed beneath the two. Easy. Hey Tazuna, I got him. Let's see, what should I do with you? Before Naruto could make a plan, he was impaled by ice. This ice pushed Naruto far away from the body of Zabuza, who was barely alive. And before anything else could be done, Zabuza's body was taken. Tazuna ran to Naruto, who had a huge hole in his chest. Hey kid, are you going to be okay? I'm sorry for dragging you into this. Now you're gonna die. Naruto smiled as he stood up and the hole began to get healed. He began to stretch, as he didn't know how he was immortal, but he did know he was immortal. He and his grandfather did figure this out through their training, and Naruto did fall off the cliff a couple times when he was younger. Naruto sat back down as he rubbed his head. Looking at the crater, he said, Damn it, I let him get away. Maybe I should have killed him. And what was that ice? It was crazy strong. I couldn't even sense its killing intent. I wonder who sent it. They had to be powerful. I can't wait to fight them. The golden hair of Naruto began to sway in the wind as the boy would laugh, and Tazuna could only think that he was insane. He almost died, and now this is how he reacts? Tazuna and Naruto would continue their journey until eventually arriving at the man's home. And as promised, Naruto gets a special meal cooked by Tazuna's daughter. As he sat and ate the food, a kid stared at him. Tazuna walked past the table as he would just say, Don't mind him, Naruto. It's just things have been rough on him lately. His name's Nari if you want to talk to him. Naruto waved and offered him some of the food, but the boy mean-mugged Naruto, walking away. The next day, Naruto went outside to train before he had went out to the bridge. Naruto wanted to perfect the transformation that he had, as he closed his eyes and opened them again, tapping into the true power of the Monkey King, as a small gold crown would now be displayed upon Naruto's head, and his staff began to glow brighter than ever before as it stretched into the cloud. And then, a cloud would appear as it came back down, as Naruto controls the cloud to make the entire sky dark. Naruto tries to hold the form, but he falls over after 30 seconds. Damn it, I was so close. I just need to train harder and then I can hold it for about a minute. This is so stressful. Naruto continued training for the rest of the day and did go to the bridge on occasions to help it be built. And then he sat and took a break in the afternoon. As he sat against a tree, a woman would walk by picking up flowers, and Naruto sniffed the air while this woman was on the ground. Naruto picked up a familiar scent as he then expanded his pole, crushing her. This killed the masked man who had taken Zabuza's body a couple days before. And after this, Naruto had went off as he went to the bridge with Tazuna the next day. And when they arrived, they saw Zabuza this time, as he was healed. But Naruto stepped up and ripped off some of his hair. As he threw it in the air, several clones of himself then appeared as they all attacked Zabuza. The Mist Ninja dodged the attacks, but there were just too many, and Zabuza could only create one other clone to counter that was easily destroyed. These clones of Naruto were just as strong as him, but Zabuza also had to worry about the real Naruto who kicked him in his chest. The clones would grab Zabuza by his arms and legs, holding him with their monstrous strength. As Zabuza looked up, he could see a glowing Naruto, as Naruto gets as close as possible and performs the most powerful 1-inch punch on his chest. Naruto's fist completely goes through Zabuza, killing him as he would fall to the ground. And then he looked up at the sky as it began to rain, and then he heard a voice. There he is, kill the brat and Tazuna. Naruto tilted his head back to see Gato and his men. And here is where I want to make the story more of my own. I want Naruto to be able to summon the elements with his staff and other abilities. Well, just to summon them rather than use jutsu. I feel like that will make Naruto more unique, and he'd have a wider range of attacks. But what I mean by summon, well, that's easy. Naruto can only use elements that are present around him. But summoning elements is a very powerful ability, so to make it balanced, Naruto can only do this while in the Monkey King transformation. Back to the story, the crown would appear on the boy's head, as this time, he grows. Well, he doesn't just grow in size. He actually grows hair on his arms, since this isn't the full power, and Naruto holds his staff to the dark sky as lightning comes down to it, and Naruto grips it so he doesn't lose control. And as he swings it, a wave of lightning comes off the staff going to the group. This kills every one of them with just one move, as then a cloud of wind appears and Naruto uses it to push their dead bodies into the water below. Naruto looks up, summoning the cloud to his side as he would inhale it, and the power of the Monkey King would fade as Naruto would fall to one knee, exhausted once again. Tazuna thanks Naruto, as this is when the rest of the town arrives to help finish the bridge, and Naruto's strength, well, it would be done in no time. At nighttime, Naruto prepared to leave, but Tazuna would ask where he's going, as Naruto would say, I'm going to see my grandfather. I want to ask him more questions about the memories I see at night. If you need me again, I will come back. Naruto exhales as a cloud from before would come out and he jumps on it, flying to the mountains. Enter the Discovery Arc. One quick thing that I will go over, since the leaf doesn't have the 9 tails, they still would have to fake having it, since they wouldn't have the Chunin exams as well. This way they could keep the facade that they're still the most strongest village, but most likely the stone would host it instead, because the sand isn't stable and the cloud and mist villages don't have the best relationships with the other ones. As Naruto flies over the lands, he sees someone go underground. Naruto jumps off the cloud following this person. As he walks through this strange place, he sees test tubes with people within them and blood everywhere. He is sick to his stomach, but then he hears someone coming. Quickly, he transforms into a bug that crawls under a counter. The man with black hair and pale skin would say, "I thought I heard something." The man continued on and Naruto follows him as a bug. As then he was beginning to torture another man, Naruto morphed into himself, kicking the pale man into walls. "I'm here to save you, hold on." Naruto untied the man as he would run through the base. However, Naruto stood firm as the pale man came back. "And who are you? I'd like the name of someone before they are killed." "Naruto." "Naruto? I've heard that name before, but I can't exactly recall right now." Orochimaru rushed forward, but Naruto dodged, kicking him so hard that he went through the roof of the base back to surface level. Orochimaru fell to the ground, coughing up blood as his ribs were now broken. This is when the Sound Four and Kimimaro came to his aid. They surrounded Naruto, who isn't impressed, as he grabs Kimimaro by one of the bones and he punches him across the face. Jirobo will put both hands together, slamming down at Naruto. Naruto caught both of his hands with only one of his as he would throw Jirobo over his shoulder into the other Sound Four, who would also activate their curse marks, while Naruto had begun to close his eyes, tapping into the power of the Monkey King, but this time it didn't work, and then he was shot through the chest by an arrow. Of course this wouldn't kill him as he pulled it out, but he wondered why the power didn't work. Maybe he had to train, or maybe it was sealed. Naruto didn't care as he easily blitzed Sound 4, killing them, and then he turned to the pale man who was still on the ground coughing up blood because of Naruto's attacks. As he knew the body he had was running out of time, Naruto stood on his head and then crushed it. He turned back to see the base, and he saw a small cliff overhead from it, as Naruto climbed this small mountain and then kicked the side of it, causing huge rocks to cave the base in. This way, no one could find it, and they couldn't see what the man had done. Naruto, instead of using his cloud, would transform into a falcon, flying back to the mountain. Days of flying would go by as Naruto saw the small house once again. He flew closer and landed on the front of the door as he would transform back into himself, knocking. Gohan opened the door smiling and hugging Naruto. "How have you been? Did your journey home go as you thought? Or is there more to the story?" "About that, how about we drink some tea while I explain?" Gohan smiled and Naruto would walk in the house as he would explain everything that's been happening the past couple of months. His grandfather was shocked, but he did understand, as Gohan had something that he wanted to ask Naruto. "As my grandchild, I do look out for you, even when you are not at home, and I've been doing my own research on where you truly come from." Gohan stands up to get a map. "Right now, we are here, and I believe your power originated from here. This is where history says the last Monkey King was banished." Banished? Banished by who? If there was another me, and he was stronger, who could banish him? The god of this world, or should I say the goddess. Her name, as I know, or history knows, is the Rabbit Goddess. Legend says that when she came to this world, she shared a legendary fruit with the starving monkey. This monkey was your first reincarnate, and he later betrayed the woman. She would seal him on an island, where he only got stronger. This was until his eventual death. His death? Grandpa, I thought he was immortal like me. How could he die? Even I don't know this, Naruto. That's why I want to send you to this island. It will help you discover who you truly are, and what you learn could help you save the world. Naruto nodded, and after a couple of weeks of rest and some training, and bonding more with his grandpa, Naruto left to go to the island as he flew off as a falcon and began his journey. Naruto wouldn't go straight to the island as he would help people along the way. As he got to the port, he hears people talking about the cursed island. Naruto asked around and he was told that all the boats that went there never came back. Naruto asked more and he was told that any boat that got close to the island was taken underwater or caught by a deadly storm around the island. Naruto later that day would get into a small boat himself as he sat down. Then something happened. As he sat down, Naruto's head began to hurt as he got memories from the past. It was blurry, but he could see a pale woman handing him a glowing orb. Naruto ate the orb and then the memory faded away before he could finish it. Was that me? Naruto stood, and still, he thought about this memory. But then he began his journey, and as he paddled away from the dock, people yelled saying that Naruto was crazy. Naruto would paddle for what seemed like days until a storm began to come in. Naruto stood on the boat as he grabbed his head, and then he got another surge of memories. Naruto saw the other Monkey King on an island. This king was writing things down on a journal, but quickly hid the journal as if someone was coming. While Naruto was watching this memory, the storm got closer, and the water got destructive. It pushed and pulled the small boat in many directions for hours. Naruto's boat was overturned as he passed out, as he was then flung underwater. The next day, we see Naruto washed up on the shore of the island. Naruto woke up as a crab pinched his ears. He grabbed it, throwing it into the water, and he turned around to see the mountain on the island. But there was a large jungle in front of it. That's not far, I'll just do what I usually do. Naruto tries to transform into a falcon once again, but it didn't work. And then he tries to blow out his cloud, but nothing. Naruto then realized why the Monkey King died here. This island sealed his powers, meaning he was no longer immortal while he was here, and the same goes for Naruto, as he quickly ran to the forest, but he realized he didn't have his staff, and he couldn't summon it because of the seal. So, he walked through the forest until a giant spider jumped in front of him. Naruto, using his speed, flipped back into a tree, and this will be the real fight for Naruto, as death was possible here. Naruto jumped onto the spider, ripping off one of its legs and stabbing the giant with it. The spider slammed Naruto into a tree, and for the first time, Naruto felt a real pain. This feeling was something he wasn't accustomed to, but just because he wasn't immortal doesn't mean he wasn't as strong and fast as he was before. So Naruto picked up a tree, slamming it into the spider as it would go into another one, squishing the spider. And Naruto walked over, pulling off one of the sharp legs as he sat down. Hours later, it was now nighttime, and Naruto was seen at a fire as he had finally finished what he was working on. He had created another staff out of the spider's leg. So, the Monkey King had to survive here on his own. I wonder what else I'll learn from him. Naruto put out the fire and went to lay down in a tree as he would go to sleep. While he was dreaming, Naruto saw another memory, as he saw a path to the mountain, and when he woke up, he immediately headed that way. As he ran, he encountered beasts that looked as though they didn't come from this world, but he did fight them off. Weeks of running and fighting went on until Naruto reached the bottom of the mountain. Finally, I'm here. Naruto grabbed a rock and pulled himself higher. Naruto did this for the rest of the day until he reached the top of the mountain, and when he reached the peak, it was about sunset. Naruto was confused because there was nothing up here but a stone tablet. Naruto read the tablet as it would say, "If you are reading this, you have somehow made it to the island I was banished to. If you are my reincarnate, place your hand upon this stone tablet to learn more." Naruto placed his hand on the tablet as it began to glow, and Naruto backed away as the tablet lifted higher to reveal a staircase that was under it. Naruto began walking down until he reached a room with books all over it. The golden-haired boy grabbed the first book on the desk as he would open it. So, I don't really want to go over how Naruto reads it, but I will be explaining the true story of the Monkey King in the ninja world. Into the story of Sun Wukong. Long ago, when Kaguya, the rabbit goddess, had found the god tree and its fruit, she saw a monkey near it. This monkey was frail and dying, and because she had been on Earth so long, she split the tree's fruit with the monkey. She named him Sun Wukong, as she made him her royal pet. Years go by as she controls the lands, and then she has kids. As Hagoromo and Hamura grew up, Sun Wukong helped raise them. The two kids were trained by the Monkey King every day to become stronger. By the time the boys were around 17, they began to get curious about the ritual that their mother had performed. One day, Hagoromo would ask Wukong about it. The Monkey King told him that it was necessary, but as Kaguya walked away, he told Hagoromo to go find a toad. This was the last strike. because at night, Wukong was meditating, and Kaguya appeared to him. She accused him of treason, and Wukong denied it. She shot out chakra rods, but Wukong dodged them, grabbing them, and he put them together, as they then were infused with his divine chakra, creating his staff. It seems we disagree, so it's time I fix my mistakes. Wukong fought a great battle, but he wasn't strong enough. And this was because Wukong wasn't actually given half of the fruit. He was given about, let's say a third, while Kaguya had the rest, meaning she would always be stronger than him no matter what. There was no way for him to be an immortal being without a seal too. But Kaguya didn't have this problem, because after defeating Wukong, she sealed him to an island, where his powers were negated. From this point on, Wukong lived in fear of the woman until she was defeated by her 2 sons, but by that time, he was too old. With his last bit of power, Wukong stood on the mountain and threw his staff off of the island in the direction of Hagoromo. In his final moments, he created a stone, and then he passed away. The reason he didn't reincarnate earlier or faster was due to the seal and his soul having to travel through it to get off of the island. After reading the story, Naruto sat back on the stone, and it all made sense to him. But how was he going to get off of the island? As Naruto sat, he thought about how, but then he saw another book that he hadn't opened. This book was a detailed explanation of how the staff breached the seal. So, this would be a way that Naruto could escape as well. Naruto smirked as he began his own planning. Enter the Monkey King's return. We skip ahead about 1.5 years, and it was a storm off the coast of the small island. We look closer to see Naruto riding the small boat that he had repaired, looking forward. His eyes were determined, as if nothing there could stop him, even the seal that was on the island. The storm became stronger, trying to push the boat back, but Naruto seemed different, as he grabbed the staff that he had made long ago, and he began swinging it, dispersing the waves of water. Naruto got to a point where he could feel his power coming back to him. So in response, he smiled. As the biggest wave came crashing down, Naruto turned into the Monkey King. But this time he was different, as Naruto had fur all over his arms and legs, and a little bit on his face, as they were also golden. Using one arm, he sent out a wave of chakra that would blow away the storm completely. The sky was clear, and the sun shined bright on the small boat. Naruto held out his hand, and from the bottom of the ocean, his staff emerged. "Welcome back, old friend. I've missed you." Naruto transformed into a falcon and flew off to his grandfather's home. More days of travel would happen, and I think this is a good spot to address something. I don't know if any of you are wondering, but Naruto is 14 by now. I just want to throw that out there since I didn't really say anything about it, and many of you may have been curious. Naruto flies closer and closer to the mountain, to the point that he could see where his house was on fire. Since he was in the clouds, he would use the water within them to stop the fire. Quickly, he transforms back into himself, throwing the rubble off to the side. He looks around and finds his grandfather barely alive. Gohan looked at Naruto with pride and love. "So, you found your answer. I'm glad. If only I could live longer to see how great you'll become." "Gramps, stop talking like that. I can save you. Just hold on." Naruto did a hand sign, but as he held his hand over Gohan and it began to glow, it was pushed away. "I've lived a very long life, a full one at that. And in all my years, I never got to have a kid of my own. This was until I met you, Naruto. You are the grandson that I never got to have. More like a son by now. And from the bottom of my heart, you truly made my last years here the best. And if you are ever to take anything from me, just remember that I love you." Gohan then passed away seconds after these words, and Naruto began to cry, holding his body. Why? Why did it have to be like this? Who did this to you? Naruto then stopped talking as he saw what was being held in Gohan's hands. He opened his grandfather's hands to see a large piece of clothing with a black outline and a red cloud? A cloud, huh? I'll go back home first, though. Naruto buries the body of Gohan, and after his grievances, he turns back into an eagle, flying off. Back at the Leaf, we see Fugaku and a team of ninja, which included his own son, talking. As Sasuke listened to his father, he could see a black figure coming towards the window. Since it clearly was a bird, he paid no attention to it, but then it morphed, as Naruto swung his staff, blowing everyone into the back wall of the room. He stood in front of everyone with his eyes burning with rage. Who wears this clothing? As he says this, he holds up the red cloud and black piece of cloth. Fugaku would know what this is as he says, "If you think it's the Uchiha, you are mistaken. But since you are not part of the Leaf, I will not give you this information, but if you do want it, you'll have to pay." Naruto scoffed. "I'll give you 5 seconds to tell me." Naruto jumped out of the window down to the streets of the village. With one arm, he threw out his staff into the sky, and he made it so large that it covered the whole village in darkness, and then it began to fall. Naruto watched it fall, and the Hokage ran out to the streets as well. Fugaku activated his Susanoo, trying to cut the staff, but it could not be cut, only forcing him out of the Susanoo. He then would give in, giving Naruto all the information on the Akatsuki. Naruto summons the staff back to his hand and then begins to walk away. As he does so, Sasuke touches his shoulder. "Let me come with you and prove my strength to my father." Prove your strength? This isn't about anything noble like strength. This is about finding the people who killed my grandfather and judging them with my own eyes. This is more than your little family problem. And what if you die just like your... Sasuke isn't able to finish his sentence because he was chokeslammed by Naruto, who broke Sasuke's arm and then left him on the ground. "Speak his name again, and I'll destroy this village and make you watch." Naruto holds up the piece of cloth in the air, and a small breeze would go by as Naruto would pick up a scent using a strong sense of smell. After locking onto it, he summons his cloud and rides it out of the village. Days go by, and we wouldn't start with Naruto. First, we see Hidan, Kakazu, and Kisame all sitting in the middle of a destroyed town. They were joking about the people who they had just killed, but Naruto kicked off the head of Hidan as Kisame swung his own blade, but Naruto blocked it with his gauntlets. Naruto transformed into a bigger ape, slamming Kisame into a tree. Kakazu tried to sneak up on Naruto, but he dodged, turning into a small bug. The two gathered themselves and looked around. As Hidan was about to find his head, Naruto crawled into his ear. Well, not into his ear, but to his ear. "Did you kill an old man on a mountain?" "What mountain?" Naruto returned to his original size, crushing Hidan's head below his feet. "Wrong answer. So, how about you two? Did you kill an old man on a mountain?" Kakazu and Kisame looked at one another. Naruto was confused, and he was disgusted, as he felt the scent on him, or he smelled it, but it was very faint, so he could tell it wasn't them. So, Naruto would then kill them, each of them, leaving their bodies on the ground. This scent was now ingrained into Naruto's mind, as this was all he thought about. Naruto knew he needed a breakthrough, so he sat down, releasing the power. The fur began to fade, and so did the crown. Naruto didn't understand it. Why was his grandfather killed? Did he have enemies that seeked revenge? Or was it? No, it was Naruto. They came for Naruto, but he wasn't there, so they took it out on his grandpa. Maybe a descendant of Kaguya wants to get rid of Naruto once and for all. Naruto stayed in the destroyed town for only a day to regain his full strength. Once he was fully recovered, Naruto went to where the scent took him next, and days later, Naruto arrives at the Hidden Rain village. As he looks on at the village, Naruto feels something on his shoulder. It's a blade coming from the Diva Path. Who are you? I'll be the one to ask the questions. Did you kill an old man? I've killed many, but I do not recall an old man. In anger, Naruto released an aura of chakra that blew back the path of pain. The chakra, well, it blew him all the way across the way, and the power that Naruto was relying on was the chakra fruit, which made him on the level a little bit below Kaguya. Naruto turned around to see a purple-haired woman and 6 people with orange hair. Naruto wouldn't care as he throws his staff into the air, making it bigger, as the staff covered the whole village. Naruto jumped as high as he could, standing on the staff and pushing it down. As he kicked it, it destroyed the village and Nagato's real body. As he sat on top of the staff, Naruto wondered, why does the scent not feel human? It's not a person. What else could it be? Naruto would easily hunt down the rest of the Akatsuki, killing them. The only problem he would have was with Obito, but after he uses the same seal that Kaguya had used on his first reincarnate by sealing his powers, he could easily kill him. But this wasn't who Naruto was looking for, and none of them were really the people. So now, Naruto sat on the mountain, back where his grandfather's grave was. As he sat, he would ask, Gramps, I can't find the man who did this to you, or the reason why they would do it. Is that so? Well, how about I show myself and make this easier for you? Naruto turns to see a black figure who was wearing the Akatsuki robes, but in his robe, he was missing a piece. Naruto held the piece he had to the robe, and it would be a perfect fit. Then, he noticed the scent was also matched. Why did you do it? I was looking for the Monkey King to finally get rid of him, but this old man got in my way. Let's end this here. Naruto vanished and appeared behind the black figure in his Monkey King form. Naruto touched the figure and then it was sealed. But he didn't stop there, as Naruto would fly back near the island and go down to the water. Naruto turned into an aquatic animal that swam all the way down to the bottom of the ocean floor, sealing him there. Naruto got back to the surface, as now all could be well, as the villages in the world would have peace because the Akatsuki are no more, but it wasn't the kind of peace you'd expect. This was the kind of peace where all the villages didn't really just mess with each other or have any interactions, but if they ever did start a war, the immortal Monkey King Naruto would be there. And this is where I'm going to end this movie. It was one of my shorter movies, but it was more of a story of my own, which I did enjoy doing more than the regular canned script. It was fun, and I'll be creating more stories like this myself, but I do feel like it makes the video better, even though it was a little shorter than I expected it to be. But I don't think the next movie will be like that. And if you have any more ideas, comment them down. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you're new. This is Zero, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.